everyone, and welcome back to Conspiraseed. Today we're going to be discussing one of the most perplexing and enduring mysteries of the 20th century, the Dyatlov Pass incident. I would like to thank each and every one of you for choosing to spend some time with me today, and let's get into it. In February of 1959, a group of experienced hikers embarked on an expedition through the Ural Mountains in Soviet Russia. However, what was intended to be just a fun, thrilling adventure hike turned into a tragic event that captured the fascination of researchers, conspiracy theorists, and enthusiasts alike. The incident revolves around the discovery of the hikers' abandoned tent, their bodies that were scattered around and had various levels of clothing on, and unexplained injuries that don't have any easy explanation. Now, what's led the Dyatlov Pass incident to be so enduring was the fact that there's not a lot of conclusive evidence as to what happened to these people. There's not a lot to go on. So here we're going to talk about kind of the expedition, and then we're going to talk about the mysterious circumstances, and we're going to talk about the theories, and then we're just going to wrap it all up in one nice little bow and see how this format works for this kind of video. So Igor Dyatlov was actually the person who put together the Dyatlov Pass expedition. Igor was an experienced hiker and leader who was known for his very careful planning and mountaineering prowess. He carefully selected a group of fellow mountain climbers consisting of 9 individuals who all shared a passion for adventure and exploration. Each member brought unique skills and expertise to the team. One was an expert in navigation, one was an expert in mountaineering, photography. They were all physically fit, etc. They weren't just people who were interested in mountaineering, they were seasoned hikers who had previously undertaken multiple challenging expeditions and climbs. However, once the hike began, they were never seen alive again. The discovery of their tents on the slopes of the mountain was the beginning of a weird chain of events. The tent itself was kind of an odd looking sight. It looked as if it had been evacuated in a hurry, everyone just got up and left. The tent's fabric was ripped from the inside, so there was a sense of urgency or panic among whoever was inside, and they had left without taking any of the essential supplies such as warm clothing or shoes, which were all left behind in the tent. As the search effort to find them unfolded, the scattered belongings and footprints in the snow actually caused further interest. Personal items were found strewn around the vicinity of the tent, including cameras, diaries, and even a notebook documenting the journey. The discovery of the hikers' bodies in various locations added to the mystery. Some of the bodies were found near a makeshift campfire, suggesting an attempt to seek warmth and shelter once they had evacuated. However, the condition in which these bodies were found raised more questions than gave answers. Some hikers exhibited severe internal injuries, including fractured ribs and skull damage, despite the absence of external trauma. These injuries were inconsistent with typical mountaineering accidents and suggested a significant force had been involved. Something from inside, maybe even, because no external trauma, but their skull's broken. No external trauma, but they have fractured ribs. Another interesting aspect was that some of the hikers weren't completely dressed. Despite the freezing temperatures, some bodies were found partially or even completely in the nude. Now, this is a phenomenon that happens when it gets really cold. It's known as paradoxical undressing. I actually wrote a paper on paradoxical undressing in college before I dropped out. Essentially, it's where hypothermia sets in and actually freezes your nerve endings. And so they're not telling you that you're cold anymore, so your brain's like, oh, we're hot. And so you start taking off your clothes. Also, some trace amounts of radiation were detected on the clothing of some of the hikers, which adds just another layer to the mystery. The discovery led to speculation about potential military involvement or secret weapons testing in the area. The presence of the radiation raised questions about whether the hikers stumbled upon something they weren't supposed to witness. As mentioned earlier, a secret weapons test or military involvement, which led to their untimely demise. The mysterious circumstances surrounding the Dyatlov Pass incident sparked numerous theories and speculation. Some speculate that the hikers encountered an unknown natural phenomenon such as a gust of wind or a sudden release of infrasound, which distorted and kind of, spooked them. Others suggest that they may have encountered a hostile human presence in the wilderness, leading to a violent altercation. The human presence, it could be human, it could also be humanoid, right? Bigfoot. The mysterious circumstances surrounding the Dyatlov Pass incident have fueled a ton of speculation throughout the years, prompting various investigations and even re-evaluations. Despite extensive efforts to get to the bottom of this and unravel the truth, no single explanation has emerged to fully account for the interesting series of events. This incident has generated a good amount of theories and speculation, of course, each attempting to shed light on the mysterious events that unfolded on a fateful February evening. Some theories, as mentioned earlier, kind of put forward natural explanations, while others more so delve into the realm of supernatural, and that's where I like to go. I'm going to go through and explain some of the suggested explanations that people have been like, oh, what if this happened? I'm going to go through and explain some of those. I'm going to start with kind of more like, like hypothermia or like an avalanche, and then we'll move on to the more supernatural, the more fun towards the end. One of the main theories that is kind of touted about is the hypothermia theory. So according to this theory, the hikers became disoriented and confused due to the extreme cold and made irrational decisions. These irrational decisions, of course, include cutting their way out of the tent and taking off their clothes. Hypothermia can impair judgment and again lead to paradoxical undressing, which would explain why some of the hikers were found partly or completely in the nude. However, critics of this theory argue that experienced hikers like this group would have been well prepared for such conditions, making it unlikely that they would have ever even encountered hypothermia, let alone super hypothermia. Another theory is that an avalanche was responsible. People who like this theory argue that a sudden release of snow could have caused the hikers to panic and then flee from their tent, seeking safety out in the open. The force of the avalanche could have caused the internal injuries observed on some of the bodies. However, skeptics of this theory point out that the location of the tent was not in an area prone to avalanches, and there was no evidence of significant snowfall or disturbances in the surrounding area. So infrasound, which are just low frequency sound waves that are like below the human hearing threshold, have also been suggested as a probable cause. Some researchers propose that a natural phenomenon such as a strong wind could have generated infrasound that affected the hiker's mental and physical state. Infrasound has been known to induce feelings of unease, anxiety, and even hallucinations in some individuals, which could have led to panic and their irrational behavior. However, there's not really a lot of concrete evidence linking infrasound to this incident, and critics argue that it wouldn't fully explain the injuries sustained by the hikers either. So as mentioned earlier, there is speculation around military involvement or secret weapons testing. The proximity of the incident to a military installation and reports of unusual phenomena in the area have fueled suspicions of a government cover-up. Some theorists suggest that the hikers may have unwittingly stumbled upon a classified operation and their deaths were a result of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. However, again, there's a lack of substantial evidence, making this theory hard to verify. Criminal activity has been suggested as a possible explanation. This theory is that the hikers may have encountered like a hostile group of people that live in the wilderness, leading to a violent confrontation and then a cover-up by those people. However, there are not signs of a struggle. There are no really defensive wounds on the people, like there's no stab wounds. And the nature of which the bodies were found kind of make it hard to support this theory 100%. Another theory is that there was just like a radiation burst from outer space that for some reason our atmosphere just didn't catch. Like radiation just through the atmosphere, hit the people right in the tent and kind of, caused them to go a little crazy, which something like this happening isn't unheard of, right? There was the time where a Nintendo 64 and Super Mario 64 had one of its bits flipped, which caused Mario to skyrocket up, but the only reason that happened was because a radiation particle from the sun hit the exact bit in the N64 and it went foop. So it's happened. Now, my favorite theory is that the hikers encountered a Yeti, which is the Bigfoot's cousin, but in the snowy mountains of Eurasia or Asia. Possibly some other unknown creature as well, which frightened them, of course, into a state of panic. Now, stories of sightings and folklore surrounding the region have fueled speculation of the existence of such beings, because the natives there actually do tell stories of Yetis and other beings. Now, obviously, there's a lack of scientific proof or evidence, but it's my favorite theory so far. Now, following the incident, the Soviet authorities launched an official investigation into the tragedy. The investigation involved a comprehensive examination of the available evidence, autopsies of the bodies, and interviews with members of the hikers' families and friends. The official conclusion reached by the Soviet government was that an unknown compelling force caused the hikers to leave their tent, resulting in deaths due to a combination of hypothermia and physical trauma. However, the lack of specific details and ambiguity surrounding the words unknown compelling force have definitely left room for continued speculation. In recent years, as mysteries and the unknown have kind of grown in popularity on the internet, the incidents actually regained a lot of attention, prompting reopened investigations and new research. With the more modern tools that we have, we should be able to hopefully shed some new light on this case. However, that is still TBD. This incident actually holds significant implications, not just for the mysterious and the unknown, but for outdoorsmen or hikers. It kind of serves as a reminder of the unpredictable force that is Mother Nature. Anything can happen. It's also sparked the imagination of people worldwide, and there have been books, documentaries, and artistic interpretations of the incident, which has propelled itself into pop culture. So the Dyatlov Pass incident is an unknown mystery that defies easy explanation. What happened to these hikers? They're a group of experienced hikers. They're all super experienced. They all have different backgrounds in medical or photography or mountaineering or mapping. And the group of them should have been able to make it through the pass easily. So what happened to them? What do you think happened to these explorers? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you for choosing to spend some time with me today, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.